Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
Somewhere between science and superstition.
We have such sights to show you.
Strange Eons. Welcome to Strange Eons Radio. That's Eric over there.
Hello.
That's Vanessa over there.
Hello.
I'm Kelly. You guys, last week, are you familiar with Carlos?
Wait, is that the guy who is like stock? No. Okay, I'm wrong, Carlos. Which one?
Real nice guy. Good friend to the show. Has his own
Media?
Yes, has his own podcast.
Carlos.
Took our photos, all of that stuff.
Oh, that guy.
Carlos is a man of many interests. He likes photography, football. He might like wine even more than I do. He likes F1 racing.
Oh,
And he had
sure.
told me that he gets up super early in the morning to watch these F1 races over in, various parts of the world. And I told him, I'm coming down next time you do something like this. And
Oh my God.
he was like, you're a psychopath, but it just so happens the last one is, this Sunday. So I said, I'll be there. I woke up at 3:40 on a Sunday morning,
Oh my God.
got down to his place at about 4:45, knocked on the door. He was like, you psychopath. And he gave me a big hug, and he had
Oh,
already
my
opened
God.
champagne. We had mimosas, and I watched my first F1 race in Abu Dhabi.
Wow.
And you know how we have said, this is true in life and in writing and in everything. We are attracted to people who can do their job well, who are knowledgeable. And that's why everybody loves me so much. Carlos knows so much about the F1 racing stuff that I was entranced. I had the best time.
Mhm.
It didn't hurt that we went through 3 bottles of champagne.
Oh my God.
He did turn to me at one point about 6 a.m. and said, this is a first. And I'm like, what's that? He goes, getting drunk at 6 in the morning. And I was like, well, I'm so happy that I was able to do this for you. Introduce you to my lifestyle.
This momentous occasion.
Wow, your
Yeah.
bromance is so real, and so it's just visceral. It's just incredible.
There's a lot of love there, I would say.
Hmm
Yeah, that thing you say about the people knowing their stuff and being passionate.
Yeah.
Is something like that happened to me too. That's why the reason I like baseball is in my late 80s, early 90s, I was dating a girl whose father he made it to like AA, I think, baseball.
Okay.
And he had like third row tickets to the Kingdom, season tickets to the Kingdom to watch the Mariners.
Wow.
And he said, want to learn about baseball? I'm like, sure. And he was so knowledgeable and so enthusiastic. It's like, you have completely changed the way I can watch this game.
It
It's
makes
so
such a
cool.
difference. It makes my brother's like that about a lot of like art and movies and yeah. So sitting and watching a film with him, if I thought it was the worst, most boring thing ever, if I'm watching it with him, it's just incredible.
Yeah, that's
Every
funny how that
moment.
works.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Will you, so you're going to start getting up on your own and watching F1 racing?
No, because he's got the sport package that, whatever it takes for that channel to come in. He's also got the app that he pays monthly for. So we had his iPad up and running, and we could see where all the cars were on this overhead map.
Wow.
And then just the cars are so much crazier than I remember F1s being. It's been probably 40 years since I paid attention to what they look like. They look like spaceships now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Cool.
Ugh.
Very cool.
I saw a ton of shit this last week, and I'm hoping that you guys saw a little bit of it too, because I want to get to a bunch of things. But one I bet you didn't go to see. I went to the theater.
Oh my God.
And I saw the Fabelmans.
Oh, I did not see the Fabelmans.
You're familiar with what it is, though. Steven Spielberg's new movie about his childhood.
Yeah.
That's
That's about what it looked like.
He is.
I was just sitting there going, what is going on here? This is not a story. And it felt very, very personal.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that he, in the editing room, was watching this and getting all of these feelings. But as a film goer, as a film watcher, you want that third act to be something special.
Yeah.
No third act at all. It's
I
just a
bet.
series of events that happens. And then really, at one point, he meets somebody very important to him and his career and all that stuff. And I was like, oh, geez, we must have another 2 hours in this movie or something, making it a 5-hour movie. No, that was the end. Credits roll. And I thought to myself,
you all know his third act.
Why? Like, yeah, exactly.
You know what, though?
We were here for it.
Spielberg's beginning in Hollywood is so crazy because he literally hung out on the Universal lot and found an empty office and just set up shop there until somebody finally said, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
And they liked his moxie so much that they started giving him work and all that. We don't get that far in this movie.
Holy shit.
That's bananas.
Jesus.
It starts with him as a young child and his love for film and all of that stuff, but it doesn't get into him actually making a film or anything like that. And I was like, I could have lost all the stuff when he was 8. I didn't give a shit about any of that.
Yeah.
The stuff in high school and everything was pretty interesting. But otherwise, then I come out and everybody's raving about this, Oscar contender. And I was like, oh boy, we'll give it to him because we love Spielberg.
Right.
But it was a real letdown.
I can't believe you went to the theater to see that.
Look, I know it's not it's not cool, but I still love Spielberg. I think he's just an amazing director. And he was really instrumental in my childhood, And so I was really looking forward to this. No, didn't work for me.
It's been a while since he had a really good film. I think like maybe, 8mm or what was that one he made with him, the kids? And
but that was J.J. Abrams.
Is that Abrams? Oh, okay.
It just felt like a Spielberg film.
Yeah.
But the last couple ones I've watched, I'm like, it feels like Spielberg's formulaic now, which sucks because he shouldn't be.
I think his last one was Ready Player One, which was a gigantic turd.
It sucked
so bad.
I think the last one I saw in theaters was Bridge of Spies, and I was like, I fucking hate this movie. So yeah, I've kind of given up a little while ago. I don't know, maybe Road to Perdition, but
yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that was good. But yeah, it's really hard because you want it to be like magical, like those movies from the 80s where he just tapped into some kind of wonderful, and now it's just not. I don't know. I feel like it's not there anymore.
I'll say this. There are some really nice performances, and there were some scenes that I thought were really, really strong and little tidbits, nuggets of wisdom that get passed along in there. But for, a 2-hour and 40-minute film, I was just really bummed, quite honestly. I literally came out of the theater going, I don't know if I liked this movie.
Interesting, and then last year we had Belfast, which was Kenneth Branagh's childhood,
right,
on screen. Man, all these aging creatives are deciding to tell their story.
Yeah, maybe they are not the best person to tell their story.
I don't think they are. I think it's really hard to describe your own life. That's a very different skill set than describing a fairy tale. Well, I also went to the theater.
Whoa. And
watched something that I don't know that you guys would have seen yet. Knives Out, Glass Onion.
Oh, yeah, I'd like to.
Yeah.
But how's it as a follow-up to Knives Out?
It's fucking incredible.
Cool.
Oh my God, it was so good. So fucking good. Like, just.
But does it need to be seen on the big screen? I know it hits Netflix.
It hits Netflix in like a week. Good. It has a 1-week theater run, and then it's going straight on to Netflix. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed seeing it with a crowd. It was a very packed theater, I will say. It was the most packed one I've been to through this whole, last 3 years. And everyone was just, roiling and rumbling and laughing and trying to figure it out. And just, it was a lovely experience because of that.
I'm definitely interested.
Yeah.
The only reason I picked Fabelmans over that was because of the Netflix deal.
Yeah. I would just say that I'm forgetting the name of the director, but he's becoming
Ryan Johnson.
Ryan Johnson. He's becoming tighter and better with every film. Like every single one, is just getting better. And it's like, fuck, dude, you're learning. You're actually learning and implementing the things you learned. So definitely check that out when it shows up on Netflix.
Yeah, does Netflix have like a big old deal to do a bunch of those films? Like
yeah, there's at least one more. I think it's
Oh, I thought it was larger than that.
It might be two more. It's
I think
like
it's just one more. And the thing is, though, that between Daniel Craig and Ryan Johnson, they got $100 million out of that deal. The two of them.
Yeah, we'll do a couple movies.
It's a $400 million deal for 2 movies.
Yep.
Wow. Well, that's one Marvel movie. I saw one that definitely did not have that budget. Something in the Dirt.
Oh.
The new one from Benson and Moorhead.
Right. Oh, I watched it.
Okay.
I saw this down at the Lovecraft Film Festival.
Oh, was it? Okay. I could see why it was down there.
I was like, wow, this has been very memorable.
Well, I'll tell you, I walked out of there kind of liking it, but not understanding why it was there at the festival.
Probably just because it's, it could be interpreted as esoteric. You know, it's a little esoteric. It could have some otherworldly things going on, or it might not have any at all.
Right.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a really interesting movie. Kind of like Pi or Mind Walk, where you're just like, I don't entirely know what's going on here, and I don't care. It's definitely one that will need to be rewatched. You know.
Yeah. What did you see this on?
Amazon or something, just a rental.
Okay. I remember liking it. Nobody liked it down there.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
and I came out saying, "Oh, I thought that was pretty good. You know, for a pandemic movie, it's clearly a pandemic movie. 2 actors in a room, basically.
And it's them.
Yeah,
It's the 2 directors are the people in the movie.
Are these the guys who did the like time travel?
Endless
Synchronic. Yeah. I know you're not a big fan.
I mean, I liked that one that I talked about with the mermaid person. No, with the Spring. I liked Spring. That was fun.
Yeah, I've enjoyed all their films. I think they're just fascinating and interesting. They may not all work perfectly, but I think the ideas behind them and what they're setting out there is not particularly common in filmmaking right now.
Right.
Where people are taking chances on doing shit that the audience may not understand at all or may so completely misinterpret that it's fun for them to go, wow, that's what you got out of my movie? Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, quick question. Did you guys see the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special?
No.
Oh, well, I guess that's what I'm talking about then. I was hoping one of you would talk about it. It is a goddamn delight. Well, what are you waiting for? I cried at the end. I laughed through the entire thing. I was just, and I really love this whole thing of a 40-minute special.
Yeah.
You know, Werewolf by Night is the coolest thing Marvel has done in a long time. And this is the most fun and heartwarming thing.
Nice.
So on Disney Plus, really great, fantastic music. Kevin Bacon is awesome. Everybody was awesome, really. And you'll end up just loving the team of Drax and Mantis now. That's going to be your favorites in the Guardians stuff.
Oh, very cool.
That's awesome. Well, I watched a different Marvel piece, which was Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Ooh. I mean, it's a very long movie, and about half of it could be cut out. They're spending an awful lot of the movie setting up other things in the Marvel universe. So they're like, oh, hey, like, remember that agent from this thing? He's here for some reason. Don't worry about it. And remember, like, wow, mech and tech, and that chick who's going to be in Ironheart, she's here now too. Wow, isn't she cool? And there's like a core story about, loss and about vengeance and about, there's some really interesting, beautiful stuff in there. There's a lot of love being given to Chadwick Boseman. They make some very good decisions about how to handle the actor's passing and his character's evolution. But man, there's so much shit in that film too. It makes it very difficult to watch.
I understand that they're trying to do right by Chadwick, and the film was such a cultural touchstone.
Yeah.
They have really done themselves a disservice by not being okay with recasting him and recasting everybody. They kill Tony Stark. that's a big deal in the Marvel universe, and not recasting him as just a different new actor is a problem now.
It's going to be, I mean, all of these people just have the next generation version of
right, but
themselves.
That's not what's happening in the comic books, and I understand it's a completely different audience you're selling these things to. You know, whatever the Iron Man readership is, I think at its height was probably, I don't know, 500,000 units sold every month. When you've got millions of people who know Iron Man only from the movie, it makes sense that you would push your stuff towards those viewers instead of the comic book viewers. But what happens when, when an actor dies or something like that, and it doesn't fit into what you were hoping to do with that character's story? I don't know.
It's tough because I feel like they somehow wrote themselves into a weird corner as well with the Black Panther, because while you're watching the movie, you're thinking, okay, who are they going to select to be the next one? And you kind of get some clues from the trailers, but you're watching, and you're going, oh, what if it's this person? That would be cool. Oh, what if it's that person? That would be cool. And when it's not, it's like, why do we have to sit with this person being that for the next amount of time? It makes it really difficult. Not to say that they totally messed up. I don't think they did, but it is just a very weird, squidgy area. I don't know. I do understand, like, it is such a cultural phenomenon, especially in the Black community. And I swear every Black person in the Bellevue area was in my screening, and it was wonderful.
All four of them?
Yes, exactly. They all were right in there, and people were having big, emotional, wonderful moments with the film and responding to it in these really. I mean, there was a lot of crying as the film was going on, and I think that was really powerful. But at the same time, I wish they'd spent more time on that story and not spent so much time trying to build up the rest of the universe.
Okay, but worth seeing still. Whoa.
How about compared to the Eternals or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's worth seeing. There are really cool little moments in it, much like with the Fabelmans, right? There's really cool little pieces in there that you're like, fuck, that is awesome. And a lot that you're like, why am I looking at this right now? Why are we here? Who are you? Why do we care about you? Why are you doing this? Why is this happening? Why are we in this country now? It's hard to, I can't necessarily straight up recommend it because I'm not going to watch it a second time, but other people out there might be really interested to see where the story goes. So
sure. Well, I'll just keep on with the tiny little movies where you guys are talking about the blockbuster things.
Hey, I only have so much time in a week, all right?
A new one came across Shudder, Slashback.
I saw the title, but I know nothing about it.
Yeah,
it's
I don't know.
This is a filmmaker who I want to see another movie or two from.
Oh,
because
okay.
it's good. The idea is kind of interesting in that it's vaguely invasion. It's just animals though, invasion, body snatcher, or the Thing. But oh no, it does jump to people too. But it's not explained at all. I think it's I think they say it's aliens or something at some point. But
this is not the one with the Native American girls fighting off. Oh, it is that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was like in the description. It says they have to fight off an alien invasion.
Oh, does it? Okay, maybe I didn't read it. I just get those big things on the top.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I haven't seen that one yet. Play.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, if you can figure that out through the movie, then
yeah,
that's obviously a storytelling issue.
It's definitely in the. Well, I think I remember when they tell it, and it's sort of part of the end, so I just kind of was glossing over it. But the rough part about it is the cast they've got for the first 20 minutes or so is so charming and so good and so much fun to watch on screen. And then it kind of goes away some. I think when they hit the either maybe they were doing effect shots or the ones where, and they're almost all teens. And when they started to get scared or battle certain ways between each other, the performances lulled significantly. But the story's fun, and the directing's good, the movement's good, everything that happens in the movie moves at a good solid pace. Worth seeing. I just wish that really the first 5 minutes of going, wow, this might be one of my discoveries of the year of just stumbling on and watching. The Advent calendar last year or something like that.
Mm.
But in the end, no, it's not. But it's still pretty good. And I hope that the people making it get to do some more films because there's some neat filmmaking being done.
Nice.
No, I will check that one out. Let's take a break. But before we do that, I just wanted to mention that Albert Pyun, who we have talked about on this show many, many times, director of Dollman and Cyborg and Nemesis and all that stuff, just passed away the other day, yesterday. He's had multiple sclerosis for years and dementia. And I just wanted to do a little shout out because we've talked about so many of his films on this. So rest in peace, Albert.
Yes.
We will take a break. We'll be right back, and we are talking horror westerns.
Yeehaw, dudes! I just love the Old West when things are wild and woolly and turtles are really turtles. Crazy Cowboy Don is as rough and tough as they come. Sewer Scout Raph is scouting things out. Bandito Bustin' Mike always bashes the bad guys. And Chief Leo, leader of the turtle tribe, is a real man's turtle. Yeah, I just love the Wild West. Of course, I don't like it too wild. Oh, it takes a good rider to handle them rockin' horses.
Hello?
Let's see who's called the Strange Eons radio hotline.
I've got to say that Western horror or horror Westerns has got to be one of the most exciting topics we've heard in a while. Thank you, Vanessa, for that. Thank God we did not have another Ninja November. And I really can't, I guess you can't use any of the words that I would use while I'm yelling at the podcast player. But thank you very much. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving, and feel free to use this on the air. Later.
If you'd like to call the Strange Eons radio hotline, dial 253-237-4266.
Nobody hangs up on me.
And we have returned. Thanks, Danny, and everybody for continuing to complain about Ninja November. It was a year ago. Get over it. God.
Never thought of again. What?
I do miss the little teddy bear with his little hi-ya.
That's true.
Very good. Very good.
Vanessa, this was your subgenre.
It was, yes. So I
Hold on, before you get into this, I also love once again that you chose something, had nothing in mind for it, and were complaining about it.
I wasn't complaining about it.
You were like,
I don't remember this at all. I think you're rewriting history. I think I've been very stoked about Westerns this whole time.
Okay, let's hear it.
Hold on.
Eric, God bless you. Let me put 10 minutes on the clock.
Jeez Louise. Okay, all right. So I did choose Westerns, mostly because there are a lot of incredible horror Westerns out there, and I really wanted to dig into that a little bit. So I chose the 1990 film Tremors.
Perfection. A scorched outpost in the middle of nowhere.
You know how close I am to leaving this place right now? How close?
Maybe that's why Val and Earl decided to leave town.
Hey, hold up. That's Edgar Deems.
They just picked the wrong day to do it.
Jeez. You guys better get the hell out of here. There's a killer on the loose. Who could be doing it?
Is that a snake?
I'll give you boys $5 for this. 20.
That's how they get you. They're under the ground. What the hell are those things? How could they eat a whole station wagon?
But where do they come from?
I vote for outer space. No way these are local boys.
You see, they're headed right for us.
No Richter scale can measure it.
They're coming!
No scientist can explain it.
Bert, they're under the ground.
You didn't get penetration even with the elephant gun.
Run, run!
And no one knows what to call it.
Mega worms or suckers or or suckoids.
Now, this valley is just one long smorgasbord.
Now, it's up to Val and Earl to save the world.
That's one big mother. Who died and made you Einstein?
And they know just what to do. Flip for it.
Damn.
Kevin Bacon, Fred Ward, Tremors.
Which I know is kind of one of those ones that everyone's seen. So, excuse me for that. But I have never seen it. So I was excited.
I was just a little surprised this falls into the Western category.
It has some elements of Western. It was showing up on a lot of lists for horror Westerns, which is why I went with it. I also, while watching it, was a little like, I don't know if this counts, but it's too late. So
it takes place in a Western.
It's like a small, there's like a boardwalk in that town and, there's a lot of cowboy hats. So
True.
It's in the West. So this film came out in 1990, Rotten Tomatoes score of 88% from critics and 75% from the audience. Budget of $10 million and a box office of $16.7 million. It was considered a failure. Directed and written by Ron Underwood, who did such greats as City Slickers, Heart and Souls, Mighty Joe, that one with the gorilla.
Mighty Joe Young.
He's still doing a lot of stuff today, including TV stuff, including Evil, Once Upon a Time, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and Fear the Walking Dead. Written by him as well as S.S. Wilson and Brent Baddock, who are sort of a writing team. They wrote Wild Wild West together, Short Circuit, Batteries Not Included, and Ghost Dad. Moving swiftly along, starring a lot of big, exciting names. In fact, I'm only listing about half of the people here. Kevin Bacon, who has been in everything, 105 credits, including Friday the 13th, Footloose, Hollow Man, which we have talked about on the show, and now a lot of TV shows, including the upcoming Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. He'll also be in the film...
Coming?
I know, it's sorry. Out now, kind of, as in just a day or two ago. He's also in he will be in Toxic Avenger and Beverly Hills Cop, Axel Foley. Fred Ward is the co-star in this. 89 credits, including Shortcuts, Chain Reaction, Escape from Alcatraz, Naked Gun 33 1/3, and Joe Dirt. It's one of those guys that you know when you see him. Victor Wong, 38 credits, including Big Trouble in Little China, Prince of Darkness, Last Emperor, and Three Ninjas, unfortunately died in 2001. And the great Reba McEntire, the queen of country herself. Finn Carter plays the love interest. She was in 109 episodes of As the World Turns, a bunch of TV movies and nothing else. And Michael Gross, who has been in 125 things, but the most important of which is every single film about Tremors past this one.
True.
Where he becomes the star for some reason.
Because he said yes.
Because he said yes. Because he was willing to come back, and literally no one else. I'm not gonna watch any of those. I have to admit, I'm not interested. The plot: Valentine and Earl are running an odd jobs business together, where they go around the town of perfection, helping people out for a few bucks. They empty septic tanks, dispose of garbage, put up posts for the total of 14 residents in this small town in this kind of long, isolated, sandy, dirty valley. There are a lot of really fun characters that we meet right off the bat because of this, including the Asian grocery store owner, who's super happy and excited to make a quick buck. The doctor and his wife, who are sort of building their dream home out in the middle of nowhere. There's two survivalists. There's a ceramicist with her kids. And there's some annoying boy who might be her son. I'm not sure. He's just irritating in there all the time. And you really want him to die constantly. Valentine is thrilled to hear that the grad student who is doing archaeological surveys out on the field will be replaced with a hot chick, maybe. So he rushes out to see who this amazing bombshell might be, only to discover that she's hideous because she has some sunscreen on her nose and she's wearing baggy clothing.
Gross.
I know.
And she's not blonde with I've seen this movie a few times.
Yes, she's not blonde. It's true. I think her legs are pretty good, I will say, but you don't really know that with the shorts. The grad student asks them if there's being blasting or work done because there are lots of really strange numbers happening. And of course, things in the town start to get weird. They find a man dead up on an electric pole who died of dehydration, and he sat there for like 3 days. Didn't want to get down for some reason. Another guy is slaughtered along with his sheep. There was a road out down due to basically 2 road workers were working on it, and something from underneath got them and made a big avalanche. And now no one can leave the town. The wires are down. No one can call out. And they're trying to figure out what's happening when they discover giant worm things that are trying to eat them. Graboids, which they never once say in this entire film. It is not, they do spend a lot of time talking about how they should name them. And it's weird that they don't have a name, and they could name them themselves because no one else has named them before, but do not have a name. Valentine and Earl sort of become the de facto leaders, being the only ones dumb enough to keep stumbling into the situations where they have to deal with these things and taking them head on. They manage to accidentally kill the first one and then get the idea behind them that maybe they should work with the town, which is now under threat, to try and either escape from or attack the worms. Will any of the town survive? Will Kevin Bacon discover that the female grad student is actually super hot? Will the least interesting character become the head of the next 6 sequels? Who's to say? Stay tuned. This film, it's a little zany. A little more zany than something that I would typically go for, which is why I have not seen it. But it does have truly super fun characters. The fact that we're being introduced to all of them through the Odd Job guys is a great way to introduce people in this town. By the virtue of the fact you're going from place to place to place. The characters are really likable, and it becomes really tough when they randomly die because you're like, oh, the doctor and his lady are building their dream home, and they're a retired couple, and they're really lovey towards each other, and then they're just gone. The monster creature, the practical, of course, as usual. Whenever you do practical, I'm just in love with it. It's just, It looks so fun and cool and enormous. They do a great job. I think it sells the entire film. And I have to say, just coming from a small town myself, I really appreciate the way that they portray small town life. Music sucks. Really sucks, guys. I hate it, and you need to stop. It's a playful, stupid, harmonica-driven tune, and it's awful. But other than that, really, really fun.
What's weird is I do not remember the music at all.
None, neither do I.
Oh my God, it's so zany.
That's probably the only thing that ties it in as a Western.
Probably. There's a lot of... I can't do it. It's so awful. Just imagine a harmonica, right? A whimsical harmonica, and you're there. Trivia. So, S.S. Wilson said that he got the idea for the film when he was working in the U.S. Navy in the California desert while resting on a rock, which, by the way, you're doing it wrong. While resting on a rock, he imagined what it might be like if something underground kept him from getting off the rock. The creature for Tremors was designed by Amalgamated Dynamics. The full-scale graboid scene, after being dug up by Val, was cast in lightweight foam. It was placed in the trench and buried and dug up again to achieve the desired used effect. Tremors was set for a November 1989 release, but the MPAA gave it an R rating for language. Creators decided at the last minute to make it more commercially viable, so took out over 20 uses of the word fuck and were either cut or redubbed. Examples, can you fly, you sucker, and we killed that mother humper. But of course this pushed the film back, and between that and just really bad marketing, it did not do great. Kevin Bacon originally resented being in Tremors, only agreeing to do it because he needed money for a new marriage and upcoming newborn child. When the film was not financially successful, Bacon feared his career was over, and in the following years refused to acknowledge the film's existence, even calling it the worst thing I ever did.
Wow.
Yeah. However, Bacon would eventually come around to Tremors, calling the film to be the single most fun time I've ever had while making a movie in my entire career. And in a later interview, he said, when I was making Tremors, I was very depressed and at a low point in my life. And I kind of blame Tremors for that. I was bitter against it. I thought it was a career killer. I never watched my movies more than once. And this one he saw dozens of times. He says it is one of my favorite films of all time.
Oh,
yep.
That's cool.
And although it was a failure, Tremors did go on to have a huge smash hit in the video market, tripled its original box office gross with VHS sales and rentals.
Wow.
It was huge when I was working at Suncoast. Massively popular film.
First of all, no, I'm saying, wow, I think you were done, right, Vanessa?
I am.
Look at that.
Oh, whoa.
Did it. I'm very proud of myself right now.
No kidding.
Good. Yeah, that is.
Well, I think Vanessa won this one already.
Yeah. Well, good movie.
I didn't see this movie until maybe 5 years ago for the first time.
Wow.
Only because you kept telling me I should watch it, Eric. And I watched it and I thought it was a blast.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Yep.
It's really fun. The one anecdote I had from it was, when they go around and they kill that one graboid and they're like, yeah, we did it. Oh yeah. And everyone gets like a little special shot. And that one kid is like, oh, and he's pumping his like fist in the air.
Right on, dude.
Right on,
Hate that line.
dude. So anytime we did something good at work at IndieFlix, my manager would send that out to everyone. So I've seen it many times and we're always like, no, Brad, no. That was my only context.
Nice. Okay, I'm going to go next. I'm
right.
putting 10 minutes on the board. Here we go. I'll just tell you guys right now, I chose poorly.
Oh, no.
I thought that I would give the 1998 classic from John Carpenter a rewatch, Vampires.
Have you ever seen a vampire? Forget whatever you've seen in the movies. It's not like they're seducing everybody in sight with cheesy Eurotrash accents, all right? They don't turn into bats. Crosses don't work. If you want to kill one, you drive a wooden stake right through his heart. We think we got a nest inside this place. And chances are we'll find the master in here somewhere.
I know your parents were bitten by vampires and you were raised by the church to be its master slayer.
No one knows vampires better than he does.
Open wide, baby.
But he met his match when he met the master who started it all, Jack Crow.
He was a priest. It's the first known case of vampirism.
The first and most powerful. You are the only one who faced Alec and survived.
The master vampire has a telepathic link with his victims. You're gonna help us find them.
It's a cross.
For 600 years, Valak has wanted to live in the daylight. A master vampire, able to walk in the sun, unstoppable.
Biggest nest of blood-drinking mothers the world has ever known. Time to kill some vampires.
It's right behind us! Come on, come on!
You can't kill me. James Woods. From the master of terror comes a new breed of evil. John Carpenter's vampires.
You never told me they could do that. I didn't know they could do that.
Oh.
Wow.
Ouch.
Good work.
I suffered through this in the theater. I think you did too, didn't
Yes,
you?
I did. I remember walking out of it going, boy, that was really bad. And I thought, maybe I need to give it another try.
Sure.
So that you guys don't. Budget of $20 million. Box office of about $20 million.
Woof.
Yeah. We should always, we always say this, and a lot of people don't understand. Just because your budget was $20 million and your box office was $20 million, you didn't make your money back because that doesn't count the $10 million they put into marketing this thing, whatever. It's almost always half the budget again to market it. So Rotten Tomatoes critics give this 42%, and the audience pretty much agrees with them, 47%.
Oh, wow.
Mm.
Directed by John Carpenter. He has directed Halloween, The Fog, The Thing, Christine, Starman, Big Trouble in Little China, Prince of Darkness, In the Mouth of Madness. A pretty unimpeachable record up until about this movie and Escape from L.A., which was the movie right before this. And then it just all falls apart for him.
Mm-hmm.
It was written by Don Jacoby. He wrote Blue Thunder, Life Force, Invaders from Mars, Arachnophobia, and also credited to John Stakely, who wrote the source novel, which is very, very good, much, much better than this film. It stars James Woods, 143 credits, including Videodrome, bestseller, Cat's Eye, and an amazing cameo in Scary Movie 2, which is the only reason you have to watch that movie.
Oh.
Daniel Baldwin, who has 133 credits. He was in Mulholland Falls, Trees Lounge, Love Kills. And Cheryl Lee, who was in 68 credits. Wild at Heart, 22 episodes of LA Doctors, but will always be known as Laura Palmer from Twin Peaks. Okay, so we are introduced to Jack Crow and his group of vampire hunters in a daring daylight raid on a vampire nest in an abandoned house in New Mexico. They work very well as a team. They break in. They stake the vamps with these gigantic stakes that are hooked to winches on vehicles that drag them out of the house and into the sunlight, where they all spectacularly explode. It's all pretty fun. You get a good glimpse of who all these characters are. We also find out that this team of vampire hunters is Vatican-sponsored. And at the end of all of this, we find out that Jack is upset that they didn't find a particular vampire that he is obviously searching specifically for. Still, the team calls it a successful raid, and they all party it up at a hotel that night with lots of booze and prostitutes and drugs and shit, and even their Vatican assigned priest, who is part of their team, he's having a great time and drinking with them and all of that stuff. And just as things are getting really fun, a master vampire named Valak arrives, and he is clearly who Jack has been searching for. So Valak shows up and literally kills everyone at the party spectacularly. There's all sorts of guns blazing and all that. And he's putting his hand through people's chest and pulling out their beating hearts and shit like that. He kills everyone except for Jack and his right-hand man, Tony Montoya. And they managed to barely escape with one of the prostitutes, Katrina, who had just been bitten by Valak. So we get a little bit of Valak's history here. He was a disgraced priest a couple thousand years ago who led a rebellion against the church, which led to his execution and him becoming the very first vampire. I'm not sure that's how it works, but, you know.
Interesting.
Yeah. He's already killed another group of vampire hunters in Germany, so the Vatican has got a real hard-on for wiping him out. And he's also on a quest for this magical cross that will allow vampires to walk in sunlight, which is the exact same basic premise for the first Blade movie, which came out right about this time also. And then the movie The Forsaken. I don't know if you guys saw that. Yeah. I kind of like that one.
Yeah.
And an episode of Buffy, at least.
Right. Yeah. It's honestly my least favorite trope in vampire movies. Mm-hmm. Seize the night, I say, and forget about walking around in the daytime. It's bullshit anyway. So anyway, Jack and Montoya are using Katrina to kind of keep tabs on Valak because since she was bitten but hasn't transformed yet, she knows what he's thinking and doing, which is another stupid trope I hate. So this movie has zero imagination. After the team's priest was murdered by Valak, Crow is given a new priest by the Vatican, and they start formulating a plan to take Valak down. I'm going to do my best Vanessa here. Will it work?
Oh, all right.
Most assuredly not. Will Katrina and Montoya fall in love even though she's turning into a blood-sucking freak and he has sworn to destroy her? Most likely, yes. Will Jack Crow and Valak finally face each other in a duel to the death in broad daylight because the magical cross was found? I won't reveal that, but it seems like a strangely specific thing for me to bring up if it didn't happen.
True.
This movie breaks the cardinal rule of horror flicks, or at least my cardinal rule, which is it can be stupid. It can have really bad acting and even bad effects, but it cannot be boring. And God, this movie is a snore fest. Mm. It bills itself as a vampire Western, but it would have done better to take some of the Western genre's specific angles and camera work and maybe apply it to this story. It does none of this, which is surprising because Carpenter famously wanted to make a Western, and this was the film that he decided to do that with.
Heartbreaking.
The movie takes place in New Mexico and has a generic rock Western score, I guess, and maybe that's their tie to it being a Western because there's dust and Western rock in it. I don't know. It also has a climax that takes place as a montage over about 30 seconds, and it feels very much like they just ran out of money and needed to wrap up the movie. It's like this shockingly bad scene of the vampires being attacked by Crow and his priest, but it's all done as a montage.
Weird.
It's so weird and out of place. Everybody knows montage happens in the second act. I mean, that's how this stuff works, you guys.
That's right.
I got a little trivia on this film. This film is the one that convinced John Carpenter to stay in directing.
What?
Feeling burnt out after a string of critical and financial failures, John Carpenter had lost his love for filmmaking and was heavily considered going into retirement following the failure of Escape from L.A. because, in his words, it stopped being fun. However, when Carpenter was offered the job for Vampires, he was intrigued by the promise of making a horror-western hybrid, something he had wanted to do since the 70s. He made a deal with himself, make one more movie, and if it still isn't fun, retire. Carpenter would later go on to heavily enjoy his time on directing Vampires.
Wow.
That's good for him, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what? It's not fun. The people gave me $20 million to make a movie, and I couldn't make it. Whatever. Fuck off with your fun stuff. It's called a job. John Stakely, the author of the original novel, liked the film, but said it contained much of his dialogue and none of his plot. Russell Mulcahy, who directed Highlander and Razorback, was originally attached to direct with Dolph Lundgren in the Jack Crow role and Willem Dafoe as Valak.
That'd be interesting.
When that fell apart, Carpenter was approached and given a $60 million budget that was slashed to $20 million at the last minute, which maybe explains everything in this movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, Bruce Campbell was Carpenter's first choice to play Montoya. The film opened at number 1, but dropped at number 8 in its second week. It grossed $20 million in the United States on a $20 million budget. Although worldwide numbers are not official, Carpenter stated the film was a massive success overseas, particularly in Japan, and pulled in well over its $20 million budget. It later went on to pull in a further $42 million on home video rental and purchase sales. And Vampires was Carpenter's only financially successful film of the 90s. And to date, it is the last financially successful film that John Carpenter has directed.
Yeah, it was a...
Ouch.
Yeah.
But if he does Dead Space, it's going to be awesome.
No, it will not.
It could be awesome.
It will not.
Go for the optimism. What the hell?
I love Carpenter. He's lost his love for the industry, so he's not going to be able to do anything good anymore.
He is definitely a crotchety old man.
Yeah.
He is,
Yeah, because if you're only in it for the money, then you don't have that drive to make something that's going to be better than whatever money you've been given.
Yeah, which is why his music is obviously, it's his passion.
Yeah.
And he's just loving life with that.
Yep.
So
yeah. Do I let the time run out, or do I just take the win for getting it under and start up for you, Eric?
How much time is left?
Like a minute.
Oh, that didn't work. Last time you said that, it went off like immediately. Yeah, no, you can reset.
I'm just going to say I won.
I won.
We all win.
We all win.
Well, let's see how Eric does. Eric,
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm putting 10 minutes on the board. Kaboom.
Go. All righty. So I got another horror western for the assignment.
Good.
Cutthroats 9 from 1972.
This film acclaimed by critics as the most violent motion picture ever portrayed on the screen. Cutthroats 9. A notorious gang bent on the slaughter of human souls for a small fortune in gold. And even more precious, their freedom. Ruthless men fighting for their lives. They were desperate criminals, chained together, driven by a vengeful sergeant. They feared nothing. They were destined to die shackled like animals. Cutthroats 9. The story of a young girl trapped amidst the lust and greed of vicious killers. Cutthroats 9. Roy Hill as her lover. Emma Cohen. One girl, 9 men that would stop at nothing to get what they want. Starring Robert Hunter as the vengeful Sergeant Brown. An adventure in violence that will rip your heart out. Cutthroats 9. Violence is their way of life. It's the one movie that you must not see alone. What you see here is only a sample of what is in store for you in Cutthroats 9. For your protection, you will be given a terror mask free at the entrance. We urge you to use it if the violence is more than you can stand.
Oh.
Wait a second. Is this an actual Western then?
Yes.
I'm calling this episode How the West Was Won, O-N-E, since you were the only one who actually got the right thing.
It's definitely a Western. This was, 1972. This is another one I found that has 0 critics ratings. Not even one.
Oh, no.
53 from the audience, though. The crowd. No idea what the budget is. Not high, but no idea what the box office was. Also, probably not high. But hey, run a nice little 90 minutes.
Solid.
I appreciate that. Directed by Joaquin Luis Romero Marchant. All those names. He's also well known for I Don't Forgive, I Kill, Dollars for a Fast Gun,
Yes.
Zorro the Avenger, and 7 Hours of Gunfire.
Wow.
So he is kind of during the period of the Italian Clint Eastwood, Spanish
spaghetti westerns.
Yeah, spaghetti westerns. Spain was doing a similar thing, and he is a little bit more Spanish, but this particular one, I believe, is the Spanish one.
Oh.
I gotta see I Don't Forgive, I Kill. What a great title.
Yeah.
7 hours of shooting also sounds great.
Unless the movie runs 7 hours.
Then less great.
He also wrote it. He also wrote The Black Wolf and Revenge of the Black Wolf and Tarzan in the Golden Grotto. Plus, he also wrote most of what he directed. There's a second writer on this one, Santiago Moncado, who's 62 writing credits, including lots of Spanish TV. Under Siege. No, not that one. Curse of the Black Cat and All the Colors of the Dark, which is a pretty damn good giallo. So he's got a nice pedigree there. Starring Robert Hundar from Beast in Space, The Cynic, The Rat, and the Fist, White Fang and the Gold Diggers, Mean Frank and Crazy Tony. So he had a fun time in the 70s making movies. Emma Cohen, who's in The Hidden, The Dumbfounded King, another fairly strong Spanish film called The Cannibal Man, and she also directed 8 short films.
Wow.
Alberto Dalvez from The Demons, The Erotic Rites of Frankenstein, and Daughter of Dracula. Antonio Erazo, Who Can Kill a Child, which I believe you did.
I did that one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Flower of Holiness. Sure. Anyway, so movie starts with an introduction of the cast. It's fairly straightforward. It's a group of criminals being transported in a carriage, being watched over by soldiers as they go through the backwoods in the winter. So, fun times ahead for all. The convents, can you guess how many of them are? Cutthroats 9?
Oh.
But, there's actually 7 of the, and then the 2 others that join in later. But they're listed as 7 sadistic murderers, prisoners survive into the woods without a horse or a wagon.
Uh-oh.
There's the bandits gang gets attacked by 2 people who somehow manage to intimidate all the guards and do the stuff by using echoes in the area around them to make it sound like there's a lot of people there. And somehow none of them figure out that that's the same thing that guy just said. That's echoed everywhere. They think they have gold, but there is no gold in this particular transport, apparently. So they get all pissed off and cranky and send the coach riding away with the horses dragging it and no people in it. And that's how our plot begins of the 9, because there's the 7 criminals, the guy who's driving the cart, and his daughter.
Okay.
Gee. Early 70s movies. Woman thrown into a situation she doesn't need to be in. I wonder why she's there. With a bunch of criminals.
It's raping time.
Save the day.
There
She's
you
gonna
go.
save the day.
Oh, okay. I was way off on this.
You're actually both correct.
Oh. Wow.
It does this very strange thing throughout the movie where it hits a freeze frame and then shows the past. Like when you first see the driver and the daughter, it freeze frames and goes back to him coming back from the war the Civil War as a soldier and her greeting him, and they're all happy and all that kind of stuff, and forward into back to the regular time, and they're trudging through the snows just trying to survive. There's a prisoner gets injured, so they carry him, which is weird because you'd think this group would just kind of leave him behind, which is what most of them want to do. But the guy in the carriage said, no, you carry him. You hurt this guy, you're going to carry him. And then they end up deciding to kill him, so he makes them carry the dead corpse. This film has a few rough scenes with horses. Be warned. The plot deepens when you find out that one of these 7 killed the man's wife.
Oh.
And so he's got to figure out that. And of course, they trudge along and find a cabin, and then horrible things happen to the daughter. And then they trudge along more through the snow. Little spoiler, I guess you could say, sort of in the middle of the movie, but the chains are actually the gold. Which is why, and they're all chained together, which is why the one guy who knows the chains are gold makes them carry the dead guy.
Oh.
It seems like that would be some very heavy chains.
Yes, very heavy and very soft. So when they discover they're gold, they can't get them off until they find a train to run over them. No. It's the reason you can bite gold. So a few hard hits from a rock should take care of that for you. But, that would shorten the movie greatly. I can guarantee you, even having not seen The Hateful Eight, Tarantino has seen this film. This is such a Tarantino movie. It's all bleak and dark. People are assholes. Women are treated like shit. It's all very, very.
Did you just say you haven't seen The Hateful Eight?
No. So I think the only one of his films I haven't seen.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. I looked at it, it's like 3 fucking hours. I don't know if I feel like.
I love that about you, but it's an okay film. You should watch it.
It's an okay film. You really should watch it.
It's got Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. That does help.
Got Walton Goggins.
Yeah. I did see that one. Well, yeah, it's just one of those that, slips by and you go like 10 years later, you never, oh man, I completely missed watching this one. But there's no way he hasn't seen it. Let's see. Notes, trivia, tagline. A Nightmare on the Loose. Possibly the most violent Euro Western ever made.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's brutal. It is really, really violent. It's not straight up horror, but it falls into that. A lot of people call it horror Western because of the violence. It's apparently was all added by the American distributor.
Oh, interesting.
So the original guy did not want the heavy violence. And you can see that it was probably added in later because almost all of the heavy violence is very close up.
Oh.
So you're seeing like just the clothes the person was wearing or an utterly destroyed head that doesn't look like anybody. I'm like, oh, wow. And it's early 70s blood. It's not Herschel Gordon Lewis level bad, but it's not too many steps above that. But some of the de-gutting is kind of gross and well done, but it's vaguely horror. So maybe it's not just one. I don't know. But it generally gets tagged as a horror Western because of that. And there is kind of a zombie scene.
Okay.
The score is actually pretty good by Carmelo Bernallo. Bernalla. And the movie's English poster says, due to the violent scenes, no one will be admitted without a terror mask. Is provided for your benefit. Please use.
What?
Available free at the box office. I'm like,
mask.
okay, I got to look up and see
Yes.
if anybody's got this.
Yeah.
And it is basically like a postcard size image of the movie, the title, and like a stick. And you hold it above your eye.
Oh my gosh.
Like, okay, that's actually really awesome. The gore is prevalent. There we go. All I got left was, as I'm watching it, thinking it looked like Tarantino, and then I researched into it, and many people say this is an influence for Hateful Eight for Tarantino.
Interesting.
Wow.
I've never even heard of this. What did you watch it on?
Tubi. Only place it was available. It wasn't even on YouTube.
Huh.
Like, so that's the only place.
Tubi's knocking it out of the park if you want horror and stuff. They've got everything.
Yeah, they have a lot. And then, they also have those obnoxious, repetitive commercials.
Yeah, that's true.
The commercials, okay, give or take. But man, could you turn it up a little bit? Have 3 sets of commercials you play 5 times instead of 1 set of commercials you take 5 times.
Well, I guarantee you they're not getting a lot of advertisers, so that's part of the thing. We'll show your advertisement 10 times during a film.
Yeah.
Added value.
That's right. $20.
We should actually we should look at what it would cost to advertise on Tubi. Okay, well, Vanessa, nice job.
Yeah.
Yay.
I mean, I didn't like my movie, but I liked yours, and Eric, I feel like I want to see yours.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's definitely still lots of really good horror westerns out there. So yeah, it was a fun topic.
I thought for sure somebody would do Near Dark, or have we already talked about that?
I don't think we have. It was on my list of potentials, as well as Ravenous, which I really wanted to talk about at some point. But
Ravenous or
yeah, Near Dark kind of hit me as, I mean, we had Tremors on this episode, but Near Dark kind of hit me as a lot of our crowd probably watched this one,
right?
But you know what? Some of us haven't seen everything.
Exactly.
Okay,
you hadn't seen Tremors, so.
Oh my god!
Wow. If I hadn't seen Near Dark, I definitely would have.
Right.
Sure as hell would have done that.
Sure. Okay, well, I think that means it's my turn to pick the next subgenre.
Yes.
And I'm going to do something a little differently. I don't know that this actually falls into horror, but definitely thriller category. How about we all pick an Alfred Hitchcock movie?
Ooh.
Nice. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
My Hitchcock knowledge is actually pretty limited to just, North by Northwest and The Birds and,
Psycho, Rear Window,
the
standards.
The big ones that everybody knows. And he's had a lot of films, so I'm going to pick something I've never seen.
Nice.
Me too. Nice.
Love it.
All right. Okay, so this is where we thank everybody for liking, sharing posts, reaching out, calling the hotline number, which is 253-237-4266. Give us a call and leave us a message there. We love that. We also love if you're participating in the Value for Value program that we're doing, which is if you get any value out of this, turn around and put some value back into it. And we still have to do Micah's.
Yes.
Yes.
So, all right. That's it. We'll be back in 7 short days, and we are talking Alfred Hitchcock.
Transportation and other considerations for Strange Eons Radio produced by Pan Am Airlines. When you think of traveling, think of Pan Am. You can't beat the experience. Guests of Strange Eons Radio stay at Econo Lodge Everett. It's an easy stop on the road, if you know what we mean. Strange Eons Radio is recorded live in front of a studio audience. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving us a positive review on your favorite podcast app. Sit, Ubu, sit.
So good. So fucking good.